Like so many things in a society driven by the herd mentality, sanity is something generally defined within the parameters of statistical norms, social conventions. This leaves us with a criterion for sanity which will look something like: sanity equals perceptions of reality that fall within the parameters of conventional statistical norms. This may have some socially pragmatic value, but what does it mean for the thinker? Not much, frankly, as it doesn't speak to the issue of whether these norms actually have any relationship whatever to reality as it truly is. A person could be judged sane even if he was in fact a complete loony, simply because his perceptions fit within certain social norms. But how ridiculous is that? It's like saying a person can be sane and mad at the same time. Such a view of the notion of sanity has no use for the thinker at all. He requires something more concrete, more objective, more absolute. Therefore, the thinker's criterion or definition for sanity demands direct relation to reality, and will look something like: sanity equals the mind attuned to the true nature of reality. Any person is sane to the degree that his mind is attuned to that true nature. Of course, the herd will instantly reject such a criterion, such a definition, given that if one accepts that hardly anyone is enlightened, then this definition automatically means that almost all people are something less than sane. All people are, to varying degrees, but most to a fairly high degree, insane. This would be too much for their fragile egos to cope with. And yet, what more logical definition could there be? Why must we have two such different and competing options for the meaning of sanity? One which values what the true nature of reality is, and one which does not. Why not abandon the conventional idea of sanity altogether, and instead speak of it as simple normality? At least the term normality directly speaks to what is socially normative. And why adopt a criterion for something as important as sanity that does nothing but produce mediocrity? Sanity by democracy and statistics. How insane! The worst part of this kind of convention is that it does nothing to inspire development. If one is statistically normal, one has no need to strive for better or sharper or more profound perspectives of reality. If one does so, one runs the risk of stepping outside what is cognitively normative. One runs the risk of being perceived as less than sane. But the thinker, if a true thinker he be, cannot afford to care about such things, any more than he can afford to care about any herdly perspectives. He must consider only that which is conducive to the sublimation of his deep desire for understanding and wisdom. He must consider only that which is true. Another common modern criterion for sanity is that one has good reason for one's beliefs or perspectives. The possession of so-called good reason apparently makes one sane. But once again we're faced with conventional notions, in this instance of what constitutes good reason. Once again we're working within the parameters of a standard that is regarded as socially normative. But once again this standard does not speak to what is actually true. It makes no pretense to any kind of objective or absolute standard. What is regarded as socially normative in terms of quality of reason might well be regarded as idiocy in a more enlightened society. This is surely unacceptable to any person who feels that the concept of sanity must have a direct relationship to reality as it truly is. But here we are, living in a world which does not care about reality, one which cares only for what is socially normal, for what is expressed by the greatest number. The folly of this approach to sanity and reason is readily demonstrated by simple virtue of the fact that it may be socially normal to believe one thing in one nation and its opposite in another. Someone once remarked that all religions are as true as each other. This can also be said of any statistical social norm. When we make a concept like sanity socially relative, we destroy its meaning and worth altogether.